Hello. Welcome to another edition of Joker's Wild, our weekly battle of wits between two teams of comedians in which they battle for this, our Joker's Wild trophy. I've had a lot of letters asking exactly what it is. It is, in fact, a model of a small Irish-Jewish jester. It's a sort of leprechaun. So that's cleared up that point, ladies and gentlemen. And now we get right down to business and introduce our two teams who are battling this week. Explain it to the rest of your row. Thank you very much. And we introduce, first of all, our very own resident captain, the one, the only, Ted Ray, with Ray Martine.
Hello.
And welcome to Sid James. And opposing them, we have rival captain Les Dawson.
Good evening.
With Jack Douglas.
Good evening.
And Clive Dunn. The rules are extremely simple. Each one of our comedians will be asked to tell a joke on a subject. The subjects are on the cards I take out of these boxes. A member of the opposing team, if he thinks he knows the joke, can interrupt. Both the teller and the interrupter can score points. We'll play the game and you'll soon see how it goes. We're going to start with our very own Ted Ray. Ted, I press the button and the card says industry.
Oh, industry. Heavy or light? Light industry. I don't know any jokes about light. Heavy industry.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a blacksmith. Oh, no.
Get Les Dawson.
Give us a
A
break.
little early, but there it was.
It's twisted, it was a Smith Black. And what happened was, he shoed a horse that won the Grand National, and he made a lot of money out of it, off the owner. It's the same gag this time.
No.
And they went to Paris, him and his wife. They loved it in Paris. The only thing was, the language beat them. They were starving, they had nothing to eat. They couldn't ask for anything, they didn't know the language. So one day his wife came in with a leg of lamb. So he said, "How did you get that, Martha?" "Just like that, Martha."
Rambling Rose of the Wildwood.
So she said, "I just lifted it. I went to the butcher's shop," she said, "I lifted up my skirt and went, I got the leg of lamb." He said, "It's a damn good job you didn't ask for a rump."
Oh, dear. I'll give Les Dawson 3 points. You mustn't let them get too far ahead too early on. Back to Ted Ray. Was that your joke, Ted?
No, these you have loved. Thank you, Les. No, this blacksmith was a pucker blacksmith, and, you know, he used to work, and he was a bit short-handed, so he advertised for a striker, a blacksmith striker. And it's easy today to get a striker. There's millions of them around. But it's not easy to get a blacksmith striker. This young fellow came along, and he had sinewy hands and big muscles and, you know, marvellous he was. And he said, "Right, all right, son, well, we'll start." Now, he said, "Have you done this before?" Young fellow said, "No, I haven't." He said, "Well, it's very easy. Now, look," he said, "I take this red-hot horseshoe out of the forge, and I put it on the anvil. Now," he said, "here's the hammer. Now, when I nod my head, hit it." You're ahead of me again. And this is what happened. He caught him a terrible bump on the cranium, and the blacksmith went, "Whoops," or worse to that effect, and flung this hammer right through the roof. And this strong young kid picked up the anvil, slung it after the hammer, and said, "You never said you wanted to work outside." I like it.
I'm going to make that 4 points, putting Ted's team 1 point ahead as we, in fact, go to Les Dawson for his turn proper. Leslie, the card says optimists.
The most incurable optimist I ever met was an out-of-work Lancashire blood donor called Bert Postlethwaite. I first met him at the Eastbourne Tuss Festival. And he was giving hornpipe lessons to militant spinsters. Despite being a pauper, he was the most optimistic man I ever met. He was firmly convinced that one day he'd have his own business. And indeed, 2 years later, he opened the first bus service from Bolton to Tibet. Old age pensioners half price. But on the first journey, unfortunately, it was a disaster. The bus got bogged down in the Sahara Desert. While the passengers sheltered under the lee of the bus from the sun, Bert went to look for a garage. He came back 2 months later. He said, "Well, it's not as grim as we thought. We've some good news and some bad news. First, the bad news. There's now to eat but sand and camel dung. What we've got good news is bloody tons of it."
I like that, but we can't...
Grimm's fairy tale.
Oh, at last, something's shut his mouth. I'm going to give that 4 points, Leslie. I want to see how the points are going. Yes, it's 7-4, as we, in fact, do go to Ray Martin. Ray, I press the button. Your card says reincarnation.
Reincarnation?
It's already happened.
Wait a minute, no.
It used to be a comic.
No, I don't know any jokes about reincarnation, honestly, I don't... What?
Interruption by Clive Dunn.
It suits you.
Yes, Mr. Dunn.
I know the one he's going to tell.
I haven't started telling it yet.
No, I know, but I'm a bit of reincarnation. I can do it myself, you see.
He's getting messages.
Yeah, this... Do you want to start?
No, you go ahead. Go on.
Well, I know the one you're going to tell, because there's only one joke about reincarnation, and there's this man and woman, and they were having this conversation. And one of them said, I believe in reincarnation now, and said, and so do I. What do you want to be when you come back again? And the man said, I think I'd like to be a donkey. She said, you're not allowed to come back as the same thing twice.
Yes!
Is that it?
There's a lot of interrupting going
very
on. I'll give that 2
whimsical.
to Clive Dunn. A lot of interrupting going on from Leslie.
There is, actually.
Ray
It
Martin.
isn't fair.
Welcome back.
Thank you. No, these two fellas, and they were married, and had wives, and...
Glad you've finished.
They've been bosom pals all their lives, but they thought that their wives were, you know, being unfaithful to them. So they made a pact that whichever one died, they would sort of go to a seance and bring him back, like, through the ectoplasm, and, you know, ask questions, or camp questions, and... whether she's been unfaithful. Anyway, one of them died, so the other one goes to a seance, and he sort of goes, oh, Bert, or maybe his name was Jaime, who knows, and he says, yes, he says, I've come to tell you...
Quick as a flash.
He said, I've come to tell you about your wife. He said, never mind about my wife, I'm back here on Earth, I'm a bull in Spain. He says, you better come back on Earth again. No, wait a minute. That's all right. I'm all right, I'm a bull in Spain. And he says, his mate says, well, you better come back, your wife's a cow in Leeds. Well,
What a load of trouble.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is called humorcide killing a joke. 3 to Ray Martin for stamina, if nothing else. 7-9, and we go, in fact, now to Mr. Jack Douglas. Jack, your first subject, the Joker card. Any subject at all?
Joker card, Joker. Oh, yes, nice story, favourite of mine. The trainer on the racecourse talking to his jockey. And he said, now look, he said, as the horse comes to the bend, he said, I want you to hold him back. He said, don't let him run forth under any circumstances. And as he does that, he puts his hand in his pocket, takes out a piece of sugar and gives it to the horse.
Interruption by Sid James.
Yes, I know this one. He's talking to the trainer and he says, give him a lump of sugar. And then... Wait a minute. Wait a minute, hang on. Have a fag or something. He said... Finish it, go on. Well, blimey, it's my first time. Go on, finish it.
God bless you, Sid. So he gives the horse the piece of sugar, and with that, the flash, the Duke of Norfolk is right beside him. He said, what did you do then? He said, I merely gave the horse a lump of sugar. He said, show me what it was. So he took a piece of sugar out, gave it to the Duke of Norfolk, and he went, yes, well, that's all right, but I'll be keeping my eye on you, and walked away. And the trainer said, as I was saying, he said, hold him back until you come to the bend, then let him have his head, let him go for his life, and nothing on this earth will catch you, unless possibly the Duke of Norfolk.
Yes, that's mine.
I'm being very stingy. I want to keep that gap nice and narrow. 4 points to Jack Douglas, and this is where we leave our game for 1 minute, literally 60 seconds, for our solo spot, when we ask one of our comedians to step out here in front of our studio audience and see how many laughs they can get in 60 seconds. We need a subject, ladies and gentlemen. The subject, restaurants, and I'll ask Ted Ray to pick a member of Les Dawson's team to talk about restaurants.
Well, now, you've given me the honour of choosing this one, Barry, and Ray, of course, is familiar with our opposition, but this, as Sid says, is his first attempt. He's a new boy. Sid, would you like to hear Les Dawson tell a minute of this thing?
Do I have to?
I'm afraid you do. Les Dawson.
Les Dawson. And so it is, in fact, Leslie Dawson, aged 14, on the subject of restaurants for 1 minute, starting now.
I went to a restaurant last week. I said to the waiter, do you serve crabs? He said, we serve anybody. He said, have you got a reservation? I said, what the hell do you think I'm, a red Indian? He said, well, if you eat it here, you must be a brave. He brought the soup. I said, you know, there's a fly in the soup. He said, what's it doing there? He said, the breaststroke. I said, get it out. He said, there's no need to. The spider on your bread will get it. I said, I don't like all these flies in here. He said, tell me the ones you don't like and I'll chase them out. I said, why don't you put a fly paper up? He said, we did last week, but they never read it. Then he brought the fish. I said, this fish is small. He said, what do you want for a luncheon voucher, Moby Dick? I've never seen a fish this thin. It only had one gill. It lay on my plate sucking the vinegar off my chips. Then he brought the main course. I said, do you know you've got your thumb on my steak? He said, yes, it won't go on the floor again. I said, wait till this meat's funny. He said, I know, it's had us laughing all day. He brought the bill. I could tell it was a big amount because it was pinned to a wreath. I said, wait till I've had enough. Call me a taxi. He said, all right, so you're a taxi. I got it.
We will be back. We will be back, ladies and gentlemen, with Les Dawson's single score and more of the game in just a minute. See you then. And we welcome you to part 2 of Joker's Wild with the news that at the end of part 1, Mr. Les Dawson in 60 seconds got 12 laughs, ladies and gentlemen. Oh! He wins a fishing holiday on the Dogger Bank, and we pick up the game where we left it. We do, in fact, welcome Sid James to the game proper. Sid, I press the button, and the card says, policemen.
Policeman. God, blimey, if I... Couldn't you say bookmakers or something? Well... Policeman. Yes, policeman. Here. This is not a joke. I must tell you this. Coming here today, remember in the car?
Oh, yeah.
We're belting along. I thought we were going to be late. And we were doing a good 90-odd, and suddenly the police car behind us, clang-a-lang-a-lang, and they pulled us over to the side. And the bloke gets out with a policewoman. And she comes over to me, she says, oh, it's you? I said, what do you mean it's me? She says, you, isn't it? So I said, yes. And she said, you're in a bit of a hurry, aren't you? I'm not kidding, it's the gospel truth. And she says, I'm afraid I'll have to book you. I said, well, you know, I had to get to the television studio. We're very late. And she says, I'm very sorry, but I can't have it, Mr. James. I've got to book you. So she says, out comes the book, and she starts. Anything you say will be taken down. So I said, knickers.
Yes. The gospel according to St. James. I'll give that 5. Let's narrow the game. I'll give that 5, so it's 12 to 13. And we, in fact, welcome Clive Dunn to the game now. Clive, your first subject, immigration.
Immy. Not Emmy.
No. Well, all
Immigration. Ah, birds. Yes, there was this ostrich who immigrated from the from the Scunthorpe Zoo. And he went out to Australia. He immigrated a terrific long way to Australia, and he got out in the middle of the Australian bush, if it was good such a filthy expression, and he was walking about as ostriches do, and Hey, having a bit of a look round, you see, and he got a bit lonely, and he suddenly saw this notice, Alice Springs, and he thought, does she? And he felt this, and he suddenly thought, I'll have a look round to see if there's any fellow creatures, you see, and he saw a couple of little, very pretty little lady ostriches going in the distance, you see, and he thought, oh, there's a lovely couple of little devils, and they saw him coming, they thought, oh, good heavens, oh, we better run fast, Bertha, you see, and they went on and on, he said, hey, you little devils, I'm after you, and one of them said, quick, I can't run any faster, the other one said, well, put your head in the sand, so they put their head into the sand, and he said, hello, where are those two little devils gone? That's all there is, I'm afraid.
I like that bit of Antipodean folklore, Clive.
We have an explanation by Vic Feather.
4 points. 4 points. Printed pamphlets by Chips Rafferty will be handed amongst you very shortly. 4 points from Clive Dunn. We go back to the top of the table. Ted Ray, your next subject, drinking.
Oh, I'd love to be near my subject, yes. Drinking. Well, yes. There's a fellow, and he's a pretty heavy drinker. His wife didn't like it, but he did. And he came home one night, got half a bottle of whiskey in his back pocket, comes in through the doorway, very quiet. Hello.
Interruption by Jack Douglas.
Yes, I know this, but I think you've got it wrong, Ted.
Have I?
Yes, because he came home sober and the dog bit him.
No, good try.
2 to Jack Douglas for that interruption.
And the dog bit him.
Yes, 2 points.
No, it isn't. No,
I
it's
enjoyed
good.
it, Jack.
I like the speed of that interruption.
Yes, I did.
Great, Jack. But this fellow walked up the stairs, and his wife's in a bit of a coma. She's fast asleep. And this fellow goes up the stairs, and he suddenly slipped on the 3rd stair rod from the right up the stairs. It wasn't easy because they lived in a bungalow. And there's this terrible feeling in the back pocket. He thought, oh, my God, I hope it's blood. But it wasn't, kiddies. No. So he crept into the bathroom, and he took his trousers down. Well, it's fair, it's a free country. And he saw this awful wound that he'd inflicted upon his rump, you see. And so he thought, well, it'll be all right if I take my time. And he felt around in the cabinet there, and he found some plaster. And he did what you might call a bum running repair job, you see. He got it all over, and then he wiped up the floor, and he quietly put on his pyjamas and went to bed. And the following morning, his wife was waiting downstairs when he came down to breakfast. And she said, you were in a nice state last night, weren't you? And he said, what are you talking about? You know, summoning himself to his dignity. What are you talking about? She said, you were blind, stinking drunk. He said, oh, don't be ridiculous. He said, I didn't have a drop. She said, no? Then can you tell me what all that sticking plaster's doing on the bathroom mirror?
Preparing myself for abuse from Leslie Dawson's team, I'm going to say that's a 6-er.
Oh,
that's a 6-er.
great!
I like that. We give you a chance, Les. We give you a chance. We give you a chance. Les Dawson, your subject, adventure.
Adventure. There was 2 fellas stood at the bar in a low-lit, windswept moorland pub. One was a fat fella, there was a thin fella. The fat fella looked at the thin fella and said, I know thee. The thin fella said, you know what you should I do? It'll come to me in a minute. I've got it. We sheltered together in a mountain bakery to escape the flow of lava when a volcano in Mexico erupted. The fella says, no. I know. We used to go shark wrestling together off the Great Barrier Reef with Lily, a nymphomaniac pearl diver. He said, it'll come to me. He said, I've got it. He said, we escaped together from a Polish labour camp in 1943 disguised as German barbers. Fella said, no. He said, I've got it. Was you there last night? Fella said, yes. He said, that's where I've seen you.
I'm going to get in such bother for this. That's another 6-er, it is, really. I must calm down, you see. I'm getting carried away. It's Ray Martin's turn. Ray, the button, the card, tricks.
A group of Afrobats.
Were they from
I have my
Africa?
nose fixed, my mouth won't work. It's ridiculous. a group of acrobats from Poland. No, from France. The Basque country. They were Basques, you see.
Interruption by Les Dawson.
What do you want?
Came to this country and the leader's wife was very upset. She went to a doctor. She said, I am very worried about my husband. Since he come to this country on this strange diet...
They're from France.
Pardon?
They're from France.
All right, May West, give us a chance. Well,
1
go
point to
your
Ray
teeth.
Martin.
Pardon? Oh.
1 point for that, yes. Back to
So-
Les.
He says, she said, I am worried. How was that? Worried. I am worried. I am worried because my husband, I talked to him for hours and he does not seem to know what I am saying to him. It is a terrible mental affliction. The doctor said, that's not an affliction, it's a gift.
That was a bit quiet. I'll give Les an insulting one for that. And back to the story of the French-Polish acrobats.
No,
Ray
well,
Martin.
they were Basque, you see, and they came to England and they went to work in London. They stayed at this big hotel, this posh, Braunsey hotel. And they're there, and they're doing acrobats all over the reception desk and on the reception, on the Pallone behind the reception counter, and jumping about all over this Camp Pallone, you see, and zhuzhing and minning and pooing all over the place. And all of a sudden, these acrobats, you see, these Basques, went through the revolving door, but they all went on top of one another, like somersaults and double somersaults and all that rhubarb. And they got stuck in the door, you see. And the moral of this story is, don't put all your Basques in one exit.
It's 5 for sheer nerve, I think, for Ray Martin. And we have to leave our game very quickly again for our quickies, gentlemen. A quick joke on any subject from each and every one of you, and it's Joker's Wild as we start with Ted Ray.
I must state, in spite of what people say to the contrary, that my wife's mother is not two-faced. Otherwise, she wouldn't be using that one.
3 points to Ted
Thank
Ray.
you.
Ray Martin.
There's a new bra out on the market. It's called a rawhide bra. It moves them up and heads them out.
4.
Very good. Very
4 points to Ray Martin. Sid James. Sid James.
Oh, me? Yes, a girl rushes into the police station and says, quick, I've been raped by an idiot. He says, how do you know it's an idiot? She said, I had to tell him what to do.
4 again. They're in condition tonight. 4 again for Sid James. Les Dawson.
I'm not saying the district I live in is old-fashioned, but we've only got one shop. It's called a do-it-thyself store.
3 to Les Dawson. Jack Douglas.
She fell into the water. I said, cling to a boy if you can. She looked at me coy and said, you're not a boy, get away, you're a dirty old man.
3 to Jack Douglas. And it's Clive Dunn.
There's a boy and a girl in the back of a car, and the girl is rather flat-chested, and he starts to cuddle her, and she says, here, here. He says, where?
Oh. It's 4 to Clive Dunn. 4 to Clive Dunn. I declare Les Dawson's team the winner by 1 point in a photo finish, ladies and gentlemen. So will you say goodbye for now to the winning team, Captain Les Dawson, Jack Douglas and Clive Dunn. And only a narrow victory. They only beat by a short head the team captained by our own Ted Ray, with Ray Martin and Sid James. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Barry Cryer. I'm going to ask winning captain Les Dawson to collect the trophy, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.